today, basically. While Americans commemorate the people who saved them from the hunger with Thanksgiving, the American Indians who gave them food and let them know how to actually grow plants. At the same time, we commemorate the victims of Holodomor genocide. And actually, Holodomors. Holodomor means death from hunger. And approximately 2 million Ukrainians fell victims of this cruel death put on them by the Soviet Union. Food was taken forcefully in 1920s and 1930s. The most famous Holodomor is of 1932-1933. My family fell victims of it because, like, imagine you're sitting peacefully with your family and a soldier or a person you know who is the authority in your village comes forcefully to your house, takes everything that can be eaten, puts all the, like, shakes all the furniture to make sure that nothing is hidden. And food was taken from the mouth of pregnant women, of children, and millions of people have died. So on this day, today, we commemorate the people who have died, not even for our freedom, but just for the so-called development of Soviet Union and so-called industrialization, because the food, the bread that was taken from our mouth was sold to the West, and on this money the great factories of the Soviet Union were built that, okay, later on gave jobs to people. You may say, okay, the vast majority of the east of Ukraine is Russian speaking. The problem is that people who are Russian speaking don't come from Ukraine. They came to these parts of Ukraine, which is Donbas, Kharkiv region, Poltava region, to work in these factories and on the coal mines from different parts of the Soviet Union. And they came from, like, for example, Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan or, say, Belarus or Russia. And they, of course, didn't speak Ukrainian, and they didn't feel the need to speak Ukrainian, because the Russian language was the predominant language of the empire, not only the Soviet Union, but also of the Russian Empire during the Tsar region. So, and they came to the empty houses that were provided to them by the Soviet Union. But the empty houses were empty because all the people who lived there died of hunger, because all the food was taken forcefully from their mouths. So a lot of people, when we demand that Holodomor genocide is accepted as a fact of genocide by the world community, Russia says that it never happened and that there was hunger all over the Soviet Union at that point, but that is not true. One thing is hunger, another thing is when a country which is, as you know now, Ukraine is, in fact, it is given bread, given wheat to most of the world. You know about the hunger in Africa, because Russia is right now blocking the wheat from Ukraine and it actually rots. So Ukraine is actually the biggest importer of wheat, of bread in the world. So in 1932, my grandfather told me, grandfather who lived through Holodomor, his parents lived through Holodomor, but his aunts didn't. His aunts have died. So he told me that there was good amount of vegetables in the fields, but people were forbidden to get it. People were forbidden by law to take more than 2 wheat stems. Law forbidden to take more than 2 wheat stems from the field while you are dying of hunger. And at the same time, there was more than enough food in the fields, but it was forbidden to take it. So it's not about hunger of natural causes, it's about genocide. And this whole action was only made in this proportion only in Ukraine, out of all the Soviet Union. Because of Ukraine, of course, Ukraine's ground is given a lot of grains, given a lot of fruits. So Soviet Union planned, they say that it was a mistaken planning. They planned to get a certain amount of wheat, but this certain amount was not met, so they decided to take more forcefully. And we ask the global community that now, right now I'm in Poland because I had to flee Ukraine because I want to leave. My ancestors did not survive Holodomor, so that I died from Russian shelling. So, but still the weather is a little bit similar. It's very cold, and right now my mom is in Kharkiv, and she doesn't have any warmth because 2 days ago Russia has shelled heavy weaponry, and a lot of cities in Ukraine were cut from electricity, from water, and right now we are we are in the risk to have a similar tragedy happening when Ukrainians will be dying of cold and of lack of water, electricity and mobile connection. Done by the same people. So it was 1932, today is 2022. So it was 90 years ago. We ask the world community to first of all check whether Holodomor is considered a genocide in your country. If not, please lobby that your country accepts Holodomor as genocide of the Soviet Union against Ukrainians, and also lobby for action for Russia to be considered a terrorist state, because now 90 years after the Holodomor genocide they are putting the cold genocide on Ukrainians. Thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, I am ready to answer.